Hello and welcome to Cannon County High School Algebra 2. This is another in our series of videos designed to help those of you who are trying to bring your third quarter grade up to passing, do some of these IXLs, and today we're going to be looking at how do I do BB.2. So you're going to have to sit this one out, Mr. Lyon. You're going to sit over there. BB2. All right, BB1 was all about how to find the next term in an arithmetic sequence. This time, it's how do I find the next term in a geometric sequence. Arithmetic means you're adding the same thing or subtracting the same thing over and over. Geometric just means you're multiplying by the same thing or dividing by the same thing each time. So it's the same idea as BB1, it's just you're multiplying instead of adding. So take a look at this one. 6 times what is 36? Yeah, 6. So that is the common ratio. With an arithmetic sequence, it was a common difference. With a geometric sequence, it's a common ratio. So if you couldn't have figured out that 6 times 6 is 36, you could figure it out this way. Just take this number divided by this number. Okay, I have my calculator here. I'm going to take 36 divided by 6, and of course I get 6. Would you get the same thing if you took this number divided by this number? 7,776 divided by 1,296. Ah, same thing, 6. So that means the common ratio is 6. So what is 36 times 6? 36 times 6 is 216. And so that's what you type in. And that's it. That's what you do for every one of these problems. Figure out what they're multiplying by or dividing by each time and do that. So for this one, what do you have to multiply 1 by to get 3? Yeah, 3. What's 3 times 3? It's 9. It's that simple. 5 times what is 25? 5. What's 25 times 5? 125. Now you can check your answer before you even hit submit if you want, because you could ask yourself, well, 125 times 5, is that 625? Well, you could try that. 125 times 5. Sure enough, there it is, 625. So now I'm sure we got that one right. Okay, let's jump up a level and see if they can make these a little tougher on us. All right, what are we multiplying by this time? Well, to get from -1 to -3, we'd have to multiply by 3. So what's -3 times 3? You got it, -9. Okay. Now this one's interesting because this one's very similar to one we did before, but notice that it goes positive and then there's our blank and then it goes positive, negative, positive, negative. What do you have to multiply in order to make a number go from positive to negative to positive to negative? Yeah, you have to multiply by a negative number. So whatever we put in the box here, if we follow this pattern, we know it has to be negative. So forget about the negative now. What are we multiplying by? Well, let's figure that out. Let's take this number divided by this number on the calculator. -625 divided by positive 125, and we get -5. So that just means the common ratio, they're multiplying by -5 each time. So what's 5 times -5? It's -25. Just remember, in order to find the common ratio, you just pick out a number and divide by the number that came previous to that number, and you got it. Okay, let's skip another level. Okay. Let's skip another level. This one, obviously, they're just multiplying by 3 again. I think that's pretty basic. Let's see, are they going to give us some more difficult ones? Well, here's some fractions. That looks more difficult. What's the next fraction? Well, let's take one of these numbers and divide by the one that came just before it. So let's type in 81 over 244 divided by 27 divided by 244. All right, it's a little more complicated. I'm going to put parentheses around this so that I can divide the fractions. 81 divided by 244 divided by, and I'm going to put another parenthesis so it treats it as a fraction, 27 divided by 244. And I want to get this as a fraction, okay? So I'm going to hit math. Again, we did this on the previous video. Math, hit that first. And the first choice that comes up is fraction, so I hit enter, and then I hit enter again, just to make sure it gives me a fraction. Well, it's not even a fraction this time, it's just plain old 3. So they're multiplying by 3 each time. So in order to figure out what is the next fraction in this sequence, we're going to take 81 over 244 and multiply by 3. 81 over 244 times 3. And I'm going to hit math, enter, enter, because I want it to be a fraction. And it comes out to 243 over 244. That's the answer I type in. 243 over 244. So you see, you do the same thing as you did before, you're just doing it with fractions instead of decimals or whole numbers. Let's do one more and then we'll be done. Let's see. Let's figure out what the common ratio is. Let's take this divided by this. It doesn't matter which 2 you take, as long as you take one on the right and the one just to its left. Let's take 1/58 divided by 1/29. So parenthesis, 1/58 divided by 1/29. And you can see I put them in fractions again, put them in parentheses so that the calculator knows I'm taking one fraction divided by the other fraction. I'm going to hit math, enter, because I want it to be a fraction. I'm going to hit enter again. And this time it tells me the common ratio is a half. That's what we're multiplying by. So on this one, we need to take the last number in the sequence and multiply by a half. 1 over 232 times a half. 1 over 232 times 1/2. Just like that. Math, enter, gives us a fraction, and it says the answer is 1 over 464. 1 over 464. Okay? And you're almost to 80. You do one more just like that, and you got it. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments, and I will talk to you later. Thank you. Bye.